Spine surgery update, and if I'm being honest, there's something I've not told you all, what I should have told you, and I regret not telling you, but I got a reason. So a couple of weeks ago, I was actually in A&E with my back, and everything's fine, and we'll get onto that. The reason I didn't want to talk about it to begin with was I was really struggling, in a lot of pain, and when I was sharing updates on the spine surgery for people who are going through similar stuff or want to learn about it because they're thinking about getting a surgery, I did start getting a lot of comments of stop attention seeking and who cares, and I get it and whatever, like that stuff normally never bothers me, but when I was in so much pain and my body wasn't doing what I wanted it to do and everything was hurting and I was just so miserable, when I saw those comments I just thought, fuck it, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But that was wrong, because there are people like yourself who want to know more, and I got to be honest, I can't just talk about the good sides of the surgery and the recovery and not talk about the bad. So a couple of weeks ago I made a video about how all of a sudden my left leg went really quite numb and painful at the same time, which is weird, right? And that's the side that I've had all the compression of the nerves from the slip disc. So I knew it was that, I just didn't know if it was inflammation or the disc had re-herniated, which can happen after surgery, which is a nightmare, or I don't know, we didn't know what had happened. So I called 111 to be safe, and of course the lady on the phone thought I was having a stroke. She said, get to A&E, you're having a stroke. I said, I'm not having a stroke, I promise. I've had surgery, it's on the left side, it's nerve pain. I promise, I know it's nerve pain. She's like, is your left leg numb? I said, yeah. She says, you're having a stroke, go to A&E. I said, I'm not having a stroke. She said, are you telling me you're refusing to go to A&E? I said, yeah. And she said, right, well, then you leave me no choice, but I'm going to have to get a doctor to call you back in an hour. And I was like, brilliant, please do. And then the doctor called me back in an hour and he said, you're not having a stroke. And I said, thank you, I agree. He said, but you do need to go to A&E. Oh. To preface, by the way, the reason I did not want to go to A&E, if people from the UK will understand, especially this was on a Saturday, so on a Saturday night, I could barely stand up for longer than 5 minutes anyway, because of the numbness in the leg at that point, and sitting down was still really painful from the surgery, so I couldn't sit for longer than 10 minutes, and you know the waiting times in A&E can be like 6, 8, 10, 12 hours, and how am I supposed to sit in a waiting room when I can't sit for longer than 10 minutes, and I can't stand for longer than 5 minutes, so I'm just up and down for potentially 10 hours, and not being able to lie down would be hell, because that's the only relief I could get, and I ain't lying on a hospital floor, that's for sure. But alas, Yvonne and I went at 9 p.m. on Saturday night, and we didn't leave till 8 a.m. in the morning. And another reason I didn't want to talk about it was because on that morning was Mother's Day, and it was also my mum's birthday, so I didn't want to tell her to worry her, especially if nothing was wrong. Like, if I went and then something was wrong, then obviously I would tell her. But if I went and there's nothing wrong, there's no point worrying her on her birthday and Mother's Day on the same day. And then I started getting comments on videos saying, just seeing you in the hospital, are you okay? And I appreciate that, and I get that that happens, and I understand. But that's hard, because then my mum saw those comments and then rung me panicked, right? So that was a bit of a mess. But that's on me, whatever. So we were in the hospital for 11 hours. It took... When I got there, they said it was like a 7-hour wait to see a doctor. I think I saw one in about 3, so pretty good. That's a win. He then got me an emergency MRI, which was great because then it meant I could see what was going on inside. But then that took another 3 hours to get the MRI, and then another 2 hours to then wait for the result of the MRI. And by that point, it was 8 a.m. and we were waiting for the prescription. And I said, look, I've just got to go. Like, we were passing out. We couldn't sleep anywhere. But then the MRI, you can still see a bulge on the disc where it was. I spoke to the surgeon, and he's been great, and you know, sometimes it can leave a shadow where it was. It's definitely not as bad as it was, and it doesn't look like it's re-herniated, which is a win. So we're hoping it was just a lot of swelling and inflammation, because I've not been able to take ibuprofen because I get sick from it. So they prescribed me a bunch of stomach stuff, protector stuff, and naproxen, and it has been a lot better since then. It's weird, I'm at that point now then, if you'd asked me, would I recommend the surgery then, on that day? Hell no, I would have been saying, do not get this. If you'd have asked me last week, I would have said, absolutely, go for it. It's all a bit up in the air at the moment, and it's frustrating. And it's especially frustrating, and a lot of you will understand, when your body doesn't do what you want it to do, it can be hard. But sometimes you've got to take a step back and just be really grateful for what you do have. And I know it's cliche, but I was walking around town the other day and seeing some people really struggling just to get around, and it really put into perspective that I am okay. And even though I'm in a lot of pain, it will pass. I'm doing physio. It's going great. Do you want to see my physio? This is one of my physio exercises now because my hip flexors are unbelievably tight, and this activates them and gets my core muscles and balance going. But it's going really well. I thought I owed everyone an update because it's not fair to not share those things when I've been sharing other parts of the recovery journey. Scar update. I feel like it's looking really good. It's just like literally just a red scratch now. The skin on that's quite numb, but that's normal. Apparently, I need to swim. My surgeon said get swimming. So, anyone in Manchester know of anywhere good to swim that I won't get like athlete's foot or something? Because I don't need any more problems right now. Give me a shout, and I'll swim by. Not abu, not awoo, like a ahoo. It's a who. Anyway, I'm rambling now.